Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the assassin, AK-47. We meet again. This is the KBW podcast, episode I think 12 now. We almost get into the teens, ladies and gentlemen. I remember us talking about this podcast in the beginning, boys. We didn't know how long it would go, but man, the feedback has been so great. We're already 12 episodes deep. We're feeling good about it. So many more people are coming back to the channel. Nostalgia is high. We re-uploading matches, putting out bonus matches. We reacting to old matches. The podcast is better than ever. We having great guests. It's just all flourishing, and I'm so excited to get into this podcast this week with you boys. So introduce yourselves as we do every week.
Hey everybody, it's your boy, the biggest and baddest man in KBW, the Bulldozer, a.k.a. Dustin, whatever you want to call me. And I agree, AK. I'm so happy with how this podcast is doing, man. Episode 12, the guests, the audience, the Discord, our patrons, members, whatever you want to call it. I love it all. I'm loving it all, and thank you all so much for making it happen.
And I am the best at what I do, Mr. Better Than You, KAGE, also known as Fuego Del Sol. And like Dut said, and AK pointed out, we have enjoyed this podcast so very much. Unfortunately, I know last week I did say that T-Rex and Mick the Brick would be the next guest on the podcast. And while that is true, they are not here this week. We had to postpone. But there's a reason we're uploading this on a Friday instead of our normal Tuesday. If you're watching this way in the future, it doesn't even matter to you. But for those of you who have been keeping up day by day, staying on top of the uploads, hitting that bell, making sure you get no notifications turned on for every KBW upload, you know that the podcast is on a different day this week because we reacted to one of our greatest matches ever. And you would have seen that early and this video early if you are a part of the KBW membership. 4 different tiers, starting low at the low price of $1.99 can get you access to our membership all the way up to the KBW Difference Maker tier $19.99, which makes you an executive producer. And if you are an executive producer, then that means you get a shout out at the beginning of each and every video. So let me go ahead and shout out all of you amazing KBW difference makers right now. Ash Crimson, the one-eyed God, Berto32, Leviathan King, Jax Allen, Rinsler, the Chosen One, Killer Kokami, DJ Murder, Michael Baxley, and last but not least, Big Time Mike.
Sir.
Baby. We thank all of our incredible executive producers. We hope you enjoyed access to that never before seen matchup between the Great Dane and Big Time Mike last week. Make sure you join our Discord. It is free to join for everybody. The link is in the description below. But if you are a member, make sure you connect your YouTube channel to your Discord in your settings, and it'll automatically put you into the Discord and let you be in our exclusive groups where only members get to ask questions for the podcast each week. But I think I got all of the rigmarole out of the way. Yep. Are you boys ready to discuss the match we just watched?
Oh, wait. I just want to say before we get into it, back to the membership, Big Time Mike is a subscriber. So, I just want to, in his words, I'd ought to say just how damn good it is. Boom, biatch.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Future episode of the podcast, we'll have Big Time Mike. I've held off on it almost for too long. I bet Big Time Mike is getting sick and tired of getting put on the back burner. So we'll definitely have Big Time Mike on very soon. I promise, Big Time, we're saving it because we know you're a special episode. And it'll probably be multiple episodes if we're smart about it.
Kids have entered the chat right now in Fuego's room. He's getting his hugs. They're saying their good nights to Fuego. Look at that. So sweet. That's so sweet. Look at that. Such a great father Fuego is. He's telling his kids to get the hell out of his room right now.
Get the fuck out of here.
Please,
you little bastards. If you come back to this room, I'll beat the fuck out of you.
He said exactly all that. Exactly all that. Yep.
Shut the goddamn
Definitely
door.
that just lock it next time. Oh, they're coming back in. I mean, that's the life of a father. You witness it right now, everyone. Life of a father. Gotta
Can't
You're
hear
muted. You're muted. You're muted right now.
All that is going to get cut out of the podcast. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Big time, Mike. I promise we'll have you on very, very, very soon. Boys, the triple threat match. We've waited. We knew we were going to do a whole podcast about it. It starts off with 3 promos. Bulldozer first, then AK-47, then KAGE. Dozer, since you went first in the promo, do you want to tell me what you thought of these 3 promos to get this thing started?
Oh, I mean, I thought they were all great. We cut it. Obviously, we were promoting the Super Bowl of KBW, right? I think me and AK both said it. We were just kind of hyping it up, building ourselves up to how big this match was gonna be. I think we all did a great job, particularly you, KAGE, which I know you always did a pretty damn good job. But like I said, we discussed before the pod. You built up the match before even cutting your promo. Not only were you cutting your own promo, you were promoting the match, and I think you built it up damn good.
AK?
And for me, going back and watching it, I was rambling a lot, but I think I did a pretty good promo as well, saying I'm going to walk in, the World Heavyweight Champion, and walk out. And the big thing I kept saying was how can I be doubted when I've beaten KAGE and the Bulldozer in one night? I had to keep saying that because, of course, being the shit heel that I am, I had to rub it in, make sure all the doubters know that I was never, ever going to lose that match, no matter how big the circumstances were against me. And it felt right, it felt good, but there's a few times there I kind of stumbled over my words. I was young, still getting to my groove and everything. So it was good to watch, and I think I did pretty well.
Absolutely. First, some words that come to mind is like tone setting.
Yeah.
It set the tone. It built the anticipation, right? The Bulldozer, the bloom was off the rose. He had fully blossomed into his own as a single star. And he wanted to make it known in his promo. Hey, I don't need KAGE. I never needed KAGE. I could have beat AK by myself. I don't need his moves. I don't need him helping me in my match. I don't need any of it. I can be the World Heavyweight Champion because I was the first ever World Heavyweight Champion.
No doubt.
Then you have AK with something to prove itself. I don't need the Renegades this time. You know why? Because I've already done it. I've already beat both of these men in the same night. I am the World Champion. I am the only 3-time heavyweight world champion. And I think tonight is the night that I can prove that, hey, I might have took a bunch of shortcuts in the past, but this is how good I am. I'm about to have to reprove that to all of you right now. And then finally, me. I held KBW to a high regard, and I knew that if this was going to be our biggest event, I had to make sure I had to build it up as the biggest event. So what do? I list all of our accomplishments right there at the beginning. Hey, the only 3-time world champion, the leader of the Renegades, the current champ, AK, the first ever world heavyweight champion in the Bulldozer, and me, the longest reigning champion, both undisputed and world champion the company has. But guess what? None of that matters right now. Because what matters is these 3 men, 3 of the best in KBW, are about to step in the ring for the very first time in a triple threat match and leave it all on the line to try to go after KBW's biggest prize.
Man,
if that doesn't mean something to you, what will?
Man, you just saying that makes me want to do it again, bro. I want to do the match
Let's
right
go.
now. The triple threat.
Let's do it once more. Let's run it back.
It's like, bro, I feel like I'm in the backyard again, ready to go out in our interests and everything, bro.
Oh man,
I just feel the passion.
Reacting to that match gave me goosebumps. I swear, I was like, oh my god. And the candy on top was the Paul Wall special guest referee, because he was huge at the time after his comeback. So the fact that we incorporated him into the match makes it even better.
Yeah.
I mean, just all the stories, the year-long story between me and AK, the year-long story with the Renegades and me having to recruit Jacob Storm to then infiltrate and ruin the relationship between me and the Bulldozer, right? Bulldozer coming into his own as a wrestler, trying to prove that, hey, I don't need KAGE. All of these stories, a year-long build led up to this moment. And not only did the story come to its boiling point, but we had all grown so much in that year. We had all hit our stride as the best that we had ever been, right? At that moment, the Bulldozer gets to prove that he's one of the best in KBW because me and AK had done it. We'd wrestled each other over and over and over again, and we knew we could hang. But now it's the Bulldozer's turn to prove it. And now, us three, never done this before. Me and Bulldozer rarely getting to interact against each other as KAGE and the Bulldozer. AK rarely getting to wrestle us as this new heel that he was.
Yep.
It just all came together and at the exact moment, at the exact time, and then everything hit on all cylinders. And goddamn, man, it just, for my money, some people will highly disagree with me. For my money, it is the best match in KBW history. I know we've had gimmick matches with ladders and chair and like multi-mans and like, absolutely, they slap, but on a different level, right? Those are standalone matches. Those you can show to anybody right now to try to get them into KBW and they might like it. This match is what I show if they follow along.
Yeah.
If when it comes to true storytelling, true character development, true character art and arcs and growth and all culminating into one awesome match. This is the match I show them because I firmly believe it's just that damn good. And I haven't watched it in years, and I just watched it with you three, and I still firmly believe to this day that match, I will put it up against any other match in KBW history because it's just that good. I'll put it up against any other match in backyard wrestling history because it's just that damn good.
Hell yeah.
And I just
Speak to him.
I want to say, you know, how great it was for me to be a part of that match. Because as we've discussed previous times before, for such a long time, it was just you and AK, or you or AK versus somebody else. Because again, like you said, you know, you guys carried the company, you trusted them. So to incorporate me in that, to see where I come from, to then to be able to say, hey, I'm actually part of it now. You know, I'm part of the main event scene. I'm here. I mean, it was just incredible.
Yeah, like I said, even at the beginning of the year at Money in the Bank 2, you proved that, hey, I can hang, right? And then if you look at your year that you had following that, right? The two matches with the Bama Kid, the match with me with AK Interrupted, the team KBW versus the Renegades. There was just the triple threat match that you planned between you, the Beast, and Pac-Man, right? It's just the promos that you cut over and over again. It just showed not only were you a team player, but that you could hang with anybody. And I love the growth that you had. Like, again, if the Money in the Bank was your coming out party, this was your crowning achievement of a match, you know, in a lot of ways. And you deserve to be in that match because, again, throughout that year, you proved that you were right there, right behind me in AK. If I didn't believe it at the beginning of the year, you left no doubt by the end of the year that, hey, this is where I belong. I should be world champion. And you know, and that's what made me think, oh, man, maybe we should have put the belt on Bulldozer.
And it's kind of like you said, and we'll get into it more, but throughout the match, it's like, even rewatching it, even though I had seen it, it's like, damn, who's going to win? You know, because you truly, I feel like in that moment, didn't know. Like, we all had plausible cases to win.
That's what you want, right? I think that's what makes for great stories right now to this day. Is you want a match between top guys where you do not know who's going to win. You do not want the outcome to be something that anybody can guess, right? That's what makes the best matchups. That's what builds the anticipation. And I think these three promos at the start built the ultimate anticipation, and it kind of showed that we understood what this moment was. You know, not only did we want it to be that, but we treated it as such. And not only us, but Justin Williamson and Mike the Dr. Goodman throughout the match showed how big this moment was. Like, they treated it as the biggest match in KBW history, which up until that point it was the biggest match in KBW.
It was probably some of the most passionate commentating we did.
Absolutely. Passion is the best word. Passionate is the absolute perfect word to use for that, because you could hear it in our voices in the promos. Then you could hear it in mine and your voice as Mike the Dr. Goodman and Justin Williamson. I just think overall, we built the anticipation and then we delivered on every level.
And I want to say one small thing too. I know we said kind of in we cut the promos at the beginning of the video, but then when we all did our entrances, we cut kind of smaller promos. You know, I think re-listening to that was some of my best work on the mic, because I didn't stumble my words. I was talking with like a ferociousness, like a seriousness, and it was short and concise, and I was like, damn, I was really impressed rehearing that.
But it was deliberate, Yeah. It was deliberate and it was meaningful. You had sound reason for everything you said, and you could tell. I don't want to. CM Punk once told me in the locker room, right? I cut a promo for him in AEW, been backstage, and I was like, hey, I'm going to cut this on TV tonight. And he looked at me in my eyes and he said, you know why I believe it? Because I can look into your eyes and see that you believe it. And if you look into the Bulldozer's eyes during that promo, you can see that he believes it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for all three of us, right? Me and AK have already talked about, we had this fucking weird competitiveness, right? Even though we were best friends, and even though, we were, co-booking the company, there was a competitiveness that he wanted to prove that he was the best, and I wanted to prove that I was the best. And even though I was the more athletic one, in the back of AK's mind, I deserve to be champion because I'm the best at this shit. And, in my mind, I deserve this because I'm the best. And it comes out in those moments. That's the time you could be most honest. When the red light is on, that's the time you can really say what you mean, even though, because you can hide behind the fact, I'm just trying to cut a good promo and build the match. But you really believe in some of the words you're saying, or else you wouldn't be saying them. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I love so much.
So it's a weird, vague.
Go ahead, AK.
Continue. No, you're going to continue.
You go ahead, Dustin.
I was just gonna say that's what I love so much about wrestling in general. It's like you said, you and AK, the best of friends in real life. Obviously, moral nemesis is on KBW, but at the same time, some of that was legit stuff. It's like you said, like AK wanted to stay champion. You wanted to be champion. Y'all argued off camera, behind the scenes, like, no, we should do this. No, we should do that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
There was this underlying tension, there was this underlying tension between us both about where the story should go. And, and it was like that from pretty much Royal Rumble 2 on to the end of KBW, we were like this. But it was all healthy in a sense of like, hey, we both see this company going in a certain way, and we both want to mix it up, keep it going, whatever the best story we could tell. But when it come to using that as fuel for this matchup, I thought it was great. Right, we're all doing things that we don't normally do. We're going all out. We're trying to show out. We're doing all of our best stuff in this match. Right, the match starts. AK, he bails out of the ring. Right, I try to lock up with you immediately with showing off your strength. I can't hang. You're throwing me down. You're throwing me down. I charge at you. I try to light you up. Right, what do? You show off that strength. Yeah. Gorilla press me onto AK on the outside. Immediately establishing, hey, I'm the biggest and baddest man, not only in this match, but in all of KBW, right? And then we immediately realize in that moment, oh shit, if we want to take this big man down, even though we're mortal enemies, we got to work together. We hit a double super kick immediately, right? We take you out just for half a second. We take you out with that super kick, then we look right back at each other and we go to town on each other. Because we can set our hate aside for all of 2 seconds before we're beating the shit out of each other once again. Then we jump back into the ring together, still beating the crap out of each other. And Bulldozer is like, oh, you don't get rid of me that easy. Headbutt, 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 headbutt. And it just slowly builds upon itself. Right? I know I'm talking a lot. AK, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, most of y'all took the words out of my mouth, but I just want to say, just that me and you, when it comes to me and KAGE, we just compliment each other so well. We always brought the best out of each other, I would say, when it comes to these matches and all over these years. Because, like you said, there's a competitiveness there. Of course, KAGE being the more athletic one, I feel like I had something to prove. He was always the one taking all the crazy moves. He was doing all the flips, and that's so, like, entertaining, and, like, people, like, really latch on to that. So I'm like, well, what is my identity? What can I do? Since I'm not as athletic as KAGE is, what can I personally do for me as my personality? How can I get myself over without doing all the acrobatics, and so I was not only trying to compete with him, I was also competing with myself because there's some moments like, man, it's like, will I ever catch up? Will I ever get to this level that I feel like I'm the best, and I feel like I can do how I do things and be just as good as KAGE. And that when as soon as I flipped the switch and turned heel and started getting my confidence during that heel run and having the title and just having a great run as champion, I really felt confident in myself. Like, yeah, I'm here now. Like, I really believed in myself, full confidence, and showed what I can be on the flip side of all the athletic and crazy selling that KAGE does. I can also bring my own personal, witty, awesome move set and stuff as well to the table, and I feel like I did that, and I was really confident going into that match, and it was just so. I'm just very proud of myself, and just proud that I got to that point, because there was a time in the beginning when I was face, right? I didn't really fully believe I was on that top level yet until I flipped that switch. So it's just that's also going back again against the competitiveness with me in KAGE, where no matter if I ever felt down, he always brought it out of me, and I respect that he always like made sure that I wasn't too far behind him. He always came back and caught me back up with him, because he believed in me that much, and got me to the point where I needed to be, where it was, I would say, like kind of neck and neck towards the end there.
Yeah, I feel like, you said it there for a second. You said that we brought the best out of each other.
Yeah.
And I almost prided myself on trying to bring the best out of everybody. I prided myself on my bumping and my creativeness, and I would try to make people look good. But I was and I would push people. I pushed Bulldozer in this match,
Yep.
and I pushed you in this match. But it's very rare that people would push me. And like, AK had that ability to push me to a degree. It's like I know that once the camera is rolling and the bell rings, I can take it to him. I might not can take it to him while we're planning it out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, once this camera goes live, it's no holds barred. He's gonna commit, because he knows I'm gonna.
And just
commit.
Touching on
and
that,
like,
just stop right here. You can continue. I just want to add this in there. Just kind of get into the indie scene, because I remember the stuff I do on the indies, because like it's kind of the same thing. I know it's not on camera, but you also have a crowd watching you, so it's another different dynamic, and that turns me on too. Like, that gets me like super into it. So I remember KAGE one time, I saw some stuff I did like on a match. It's like, bro, I didn't know you would take this ever in a ring. So it's just the growth overall that I like. It's just something happens, bro. Like you'll see me training, you'll see me trying and like planning these matches. Like, oh my god, like he really doesn't want to do this. He's too scared to do anything. Like he's not even gonna try in this match. He's just gonna like be lazy and just kind of wing it. But as soon as that camera is on, as soon as the crowd is watching, I don't know, man. I just flip the switch. I just know it's game time. Like I can't half-ass it. Like I have to go full throttle.
I mean, I know your name is not Big Time Mike, but you always deliver when the red light is on.
I want to tell this quick story real quick, because it kind of reminds me. It's kind of sidetracked, but it reminds me of what AK just said, bringing up the indie scene. So before AK moved to New York, he worked with me at my current job now. Yeah. And so one weekend he texted me or called me, and he was like, "Hey, I got this indie show in Atlanta with Fuego. I'm not gonna be able to make work Monday. Just tell the boss I'm sick." And I'm like, "All right, I got you, bro." Well, this man comes back to work Tuesday with a fucking boot print across his face, and I'm like, "How in the fuck are we gonna tell our boss that you were sick?" It's just like, but that goes to show I'll bring that up because it goes to show kind of that competitiveness and that want to with Fuego / KAGE, because he was so motivated to be in that match and do that match and that event with you, that he was willing to do or take anything, even miss work, even get a boot in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he didn't even wrestle on that show. No. He just came out to help me out at the end of my match and took one move and got kicked in the face.
Well, this is what happened, right? You was fighting Alex Kane, right? Alex Kane.
Yes.
He was beating.
Current MLW World Champion.
Of course. He was beating Fuego at the end. Of course, me and some other guys were supposed to come out and make the save. It was like 3 of us, whatever. And as soon as he came out there, Alex Kane was supposed to like basically throw us around. So first he throws me, right? He gives like a fall away slam or something. I take it. But I'm like kind of in the corner selling it. I'm like kind of like this, like under the ropes, but not fully under the ropes, just kind of selling it. Then he does it to another guy, and he slings him, and that guy's foot landed right on my face.
Hits him.
So that was just a freak accident. That guy's foot like just landed. I mean, it was also my fault. I probably should have just rolled at the ring. I probably just like took it, just rolled out, but I stayed in the ring like an idiot, and he threw home.
No, but it just proved back in the day you would have harped on that forever.
Yeah.
You would have been like such a crybaby in a lot of ways about it. If this was 15 years ago. But I remember you were fine.
Yeah.
Right after the match, you were good.
Yeah.
We took pictures with Myron Reed after.
I was fine.
I got a picture of that. I'll put it up right here. We took a picture with Myron Reed right after that. You were great. We went 8 after. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Exactly.
But yeah, man. We have a fun way of pushing each other, and like I immediately wanted to push Bulldozer in this match as well, right? You see us, we get back in the ring. He starts headbutting us back and forth around. He lifts me up again, tosses me to the ground. He follows me out there, right? He beats me up a little bit more, catches me for a choke slam. Up, he comes for a spider monkey, catches AK for the choke slam. Up, down, double choke slam on the ground. Already showing, hey, the intensity of this match. We're taking ground bumps. Me and AK, right? We're showing off the strength of the Bulldozer early, right? Then, again, what does it take to get us down? He scoops up AK for the Bulldozer. I give him a shot. AK catches him for the difference maker. I jump off with the elbow.
Yep.
We have to take him down together. It's like anytime Dozer gets taken down in this match, it's because me and AK work together, which just shows how strong we're trying to make Bulldozer look, because me and AK are mortal enemies. There's no reason we should want to work together, but we do, because we know the only way me and him are going to be able to win this championship is if at first we take out Dozer.
Exactly.
And that's what
He's the common enemy.
But that's what I love too so much about the match. You said it maybe during the react, but I think I probably looked my strongest during that match because of everything that we all did, and because the previous matches, right, I showed off my strength by flipping the trampoline over or fighting smaller guys, which made me look, bigger and stronger. But in this match, we kind of capitalized on it by, like you said, me doubling up on moves, or you two having to double up on moves on me, like, and throughout the match, you're like, damn, they really got to work to take Dozer down,
Absolutely. And it just, because of our creativity, our toughness, and our established movesets, we got to do like little weird combos throughout the match. Like I said, it starts with that. AK's going for that difference maker. I drop an elbow on him, right? Or then you pick me up, you slam me into the shed multiple times. But then when you pick AK up and catch him for it, you got him up for the world's strongest slam. I do a giant flip off, that shot I love so much. That's the thumbnail, and I land on both of you, right? That's incredibly cool, right? And like as I go through the match, there are more moments like that where we combine moves or do moves that help us out tremendously, right? But we take you down there. We got that beautiful shot of you giving me that you lifting me up and throw me onto the sign out there on the ground, right? Boom. Or I give AK the tornado DDT right there on the ground. We do a bunch of ground moves that, again, seem like just a normal part of the match, but those moves hurt or difficult to take or scary to take if you don't take ground moves often, right? Yeah. And so, like, we were pushing ourselves even in the smallest ways that even get overlooked until you see it and watch it back. Me and AK got in there. We were doing all of his classic moves, right? He hit me with the quick DDT. He hit me with the swinging neck breaker. He goes for the three amigos, but on the third one, I counter, set up our old tag move, the neck breaker, power bomb spot, right? There's just so many creative spots in this match that I love.
And I love that. I didn't say it during the react, but I loved it because it's kind of like you said earlier with you and AK when you both super kicked me, and then a split second later you two went at it. It was kind of the same way after that move. We hit our tag team move,
that was so...
and just immediately you jump on me.
You landed in the cover, and I kick. Yep. I kick you, right? And again, right after that, right? AK gets up as you're selling up. I push him over the top of you. I jump off your back. He catches me. gets the difference maker over the top of you and hits the difference maker. Then he covers you. You launch him off into the cover on me. Just such cool moments
sick.
like that, bro, that are so dope, right? Eventually, we get rid of AK with something. You toss me to the floor. After you push me down, I hit that big giant moonsault on top of you. Bam! AK comes with the spider monkey
Yep.
on me. Bang! Right then, we set up this crazy ass table spot. Right, that I love. We were supposed to both fall through the table together.
Right.
Me and AK. AK though unfortunately hit his face when he was trying to suplex me, and he falls down and the table doesn't break.
Yes.
So I immediately on the fly, I say, "Hey, Dozer, scoop me up." He scoops me up, body slam, great shot. The table makes a great breaking sound, cracks, and he says, "I'll show you how to put somebody through a table." Right? The intensity
Yes.
throughout the match, the ferociousness throughout the match.
That's a great
It just
clip.
adds to how damn good this match is, man.
Yeah, man.
We get back, huh?
And just the Paul Wall of it all, Paul Wall, special referee, and there's times him and Dozer are kind of like looking at each other, the animosity there. There's a story right there that we was, that,
Well, we knew where we were going. We knew
Yeah.
me and you had the leather strap match at the next paper, and we knew we wanted Paul Wall versus Bulldozer at the next paper. So we just planted storytelling seeds. Again, something we did throughout the year with the Renegades, something we did throughout the year with the Executions breaking up. We planted little seeds here and there. And this is, again, okay, the only person Paul Wall's going to have trouble counting or going slow with is the Bulldozer. And the Bulldozer is going to notice that.
Yeah.
And while everybody else might not be able to be up to Paul's size, guess who is still the biggest and baddest man in KBW? I don't care how big you are. I'll tell you when you're refereeing like shit.
Yeah.
And Bulldozer had no problem telling him you were refereeing like shit.
Nope.
You know
And
what I'm
he
saying?
screwed me out of the match.
And, yeah.
Well, we'll get to that. In my head, I'm still thinking about all the spots. So let me just go through a little bit, right? So we get back in the ring. You scoop AK up for that Bulldozer, or actually scoop him up for scoop me up for the Frasinator first.
Yeah.
AK comes back in the ring, jump, catch, fall away, slam, Samoa drop at the same time.
It was beautiful.
So dope. So dope. I think right before that though, we got back in the ring. I went for my comeback on you. I hit the drop kick. I hit the sling blade, and then eventually I went for the Samoan drop when you first couldn't get it. I'll show you how to hit a Samoan drop. Then AK comes in, fall away, slam, Samoan drop at the same time. Love it, right? You scoop AK up for the Bulldozer. I kicked you in the gut. Grab the tornado, grab the DDT. I DDT you, and you Bulldozer him at the same time. How dope is that,
Insanity, bro.
right?
So
Crazy.
sick.
Bro, so many like just combo moves throughout, or doubled up moves throughout that just are so cool.
I know, bro.
That I love so much, man.
And I think it goes to show,
Yeah,
like,
we really.
Like we were
had
hitting it
never,
off.
it was our first match, all three against each other. And we had to show it off, right? We had to go all out with all the double moves and whatever we could think of.
And that's what
Absolutely.
going to be, we always talk about, Cage putting these matches together, and that's just a great mind of Cage. He was really good at knowing our move sets and like, all right, what cool stuff can we do with all of our move sets? What double, like every time we could think, it was like, all right, this is a cool double spot we can do with the difference maker. This is a cool double spot we can do with the Bulldozer, It's a cool double spot we could do with with the headshot and body slam, fall away slam. That was all that stuff was just incredible stuff that we just we wanted it to feel very fluent, and we also wanted everyone to get their stuff in. So he's like, everyone's got to hit their stuff, but also we're gonna have moments where we combine our stuff. That's what's so cool. It's kind of like an anime, right? When Dragon Ball Z, everybody has their own move sets, and but no, when they get that fusion high, bro, they get entangled. Those combos go crazy. It's like, bro, they doing putting their moves together. Like, oh, he hit him with this, and bang, he did his move. And it's just stuff like that, and I feel like that really brought that match to life. Of how coordinated and how specific we got with the moveset, and how particular each time we got in the ring together. We gotta make sure that this is a cool spot. It makes sense for the story, and man, it was good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a hidden talent of mine, right? It goes unnoticed, right? Because fans don't get to see it. But I pride myself on my production of a match. Like not only just for my moves, but for everybody's moves.
Yeah.
Even a couple weeks ago, I was in a tournament type where there's two fatal four ways back to back, and like I just became the quarterback. I was like, oh, what move do you got? What move do you got? We'll put this here.
Yeah.
Here we can double it up here. Do this here, and it's like it's translated to my professional career in a way that I'm very proud at how my mind works and how I can put a match together, because I feel like I can put an entertaining match together no matter who it is. I can put a match together to make it a fluent and coherent story while also having wild and entertaining spots
And I was
throughout the match, and it's just
speaking of the indie scene real quick. I know we don't talk too much about it because it's mostly KBW podcast. But I was thinking just the other day, because we're going about KBW, we're rewatching these matches, and I had a few, I'm still indie wrestler, here in New York, and I've been going a few different places, New Jersey, New York area, around here, and when I structure a match, I always try to like for some reason I always gotta be traditional, I'm like I wanna like think I'm like, oh, prove myself, and like, oh, I want to make sure I get chain in so I can show people the technical side, and like I want to make sure it's like a cool like sequence and high fly move. But now when I think about it, I was like, man, I want to start structuring my matches like we did in KBW sometimes. Like I was like, I want to actually like get back to that mode where it's like, man, we put on some dope ass matches, and I can do that in the indie scene as well. I just can't. I need to get my mind off of like what a traditional like wrestling match is and kind of get back in that KBW mode. Like, man, let's just have fun and like let's do some crazy like sequences and spots, and let's have make it make sense, of course, but you don't always have to like fall back into like every match has to start this way and that way, and like of course you're going to see the same kind of like sequences and on any match. I want to kind of, and I was really just harping back like, man, we did so many cool stuff in KBW, and I really want to put that in my character and in my wrestling matches as well as what I'm doing, because that's what I feel like you're doing. Like you said, your mind how you work, because you've been playing matches like that from the beginning. So I want to get to that point as well.
hell yeah, man. It's what you got to do. It's like
Are you?
it's what you got to do in a sense. It's like you have to first start with a move set. Okay, what is my move set? Okay, now can I counter off of that? Is there any cool counters and sequences we could do to set up that, to break the expectation of the move set? And then you can build off those sequences back and forth. And again, I think KBW helped me so much with my pro career because I just had so much experience already planning and remembering matches.
Right.
Go ahead, those.
Oh no, I was just gonna make the quick comment. I'm not trying to toot your horn too much, but I mean that's the geniuses and beauty of Cage. Like even to this day, I don't care if the man becomes as big as Cody Rhodes. He's never been selfish. He back to KBW to now, he's always about making not. I mean, obviously he makes himself shine too in his moments, but he loves to see whoever he's going up against shine. Like he wants those big moments, he wants those big spots, and he's all about working with people. And he's been like that since the beginning.
Yep.
I appreciate that, man. It goes overlooked somewhere. I appreciate y'all, pointing it out, because I get down on myself a lot, man. I'll see comments, people calling me or a jobber, or like, why did he have a job? And it's like a lot of this stuff they don't even understand. They don't even understand my creative mind behind the
Also,
scenes. And I hate to be that guy to try to toot my own horn or prove myself to people that don't fully understand, because it's unnecessary at times. I just got to keep working hard. But I absolutely find joy in making people look good. I absolutely find joy in seeing somebody succeed and to get a big moment. And if I can be a part of that, then it shows that, hey, people want to keep working with me because they know I will make not only the story great, not only will I make them look great, but I also find a way to make myself look great. And all together, that is great in itself,
And also, what I want to add on here, people just don't understand like the hierarchy and the egos the wrestling business has. I remember like when you started training together, right? And we started getting on a few shows, and you still had that mindset, the KBW mindset. But, let's put a match together. And there's some people who's like they get in their ways, like, oh, I've been here longer, so I should be able to call the match. Like you get people like that make you feel like, oh shit, like. I mean, why are we supposed to, work together and like try to like? Some people really want to like not let you. Cause I know there's a few moments I think we had in the back where some wrestlers, kind of got mad at Cage for like trying to like put a match together. It's like, oh, who's this guy? He's new. He shouldn't try to put matches together. And that's what people don't understand about the wrestling business. There's a lot of guys out there who just are very, very like selfish and want to do their own thing, and like they feel like they're the smartest person in the room and they know everything because they like, oh, I've been wrestling for 10, 20 years. What do you know? But they don't just open their minds that, hey, this guy's fresh. He's new. He wants to, have fun and get, put on a dope match. And of course, you're not going to do everything that you come up with. That's why that's all about spitballing ideas back and forth to show each other what works. But a lot of times, like, I feel like there's sometimes we kind of got discouraged of like trying to put matches together early on because some people were just not having it because like, oh, I've been here longer. You don't tell me what moves we should be doing at what times. And like sometimes it gets that way, but I'm glad that Cage stuck with it and is like, nah, bro, like I'm gonna show you that I know what I'm doing, and he's been proving that definitely as of late.
Yeah, you're right when you said weird hierarchy, man. There's a weird hierarchy about how long you've been in the business, but sometimes you could be doing this for a long time and not having quality matches. Sometimes it's quality over quantity. Sometimes someone could go to WWE in their third or second year in the business and then come back and they have higher status in the hierarchy than someone who's been doing it for 10 years but never made it to WWE. So it's like, it's super weird, but at the end of the day, you have to know how to maneuver it and know how to make yourself look good. But the biggest word that Bulldozer mentioned earlier is unselfishness, man. If you're unselfish, it'll take you 10 times farther than if you are selfish. And I thought every single one of us was unselfish in this match.
Yeah.
And that's why it thrived the way it did. It's because we were all wanting each other to look good and we put the story and the match above ourselves.
Yes.
And when you put the story and the match above yourself, you have the ingredients to make a banger of a match and a story. What this was,
we all win.
And
when you do that.
with the right ingredients, he let me cook, dog. Just let me cook, dog.
Yeah.
And we was cooking, bro. We was cooking with this one.
No doubt.
We set up. AK hits the silver bullet on Bulldozer.
Yep.
He hits the splash off the top with the difference. Gets into the sleeper mode. Doing all these different things. We had he comes in with the chair after I finally got I got the big giant Samoa drop on Bulldozer. Finally hit it. Showing off my strength. What does he come? He comes in with that damn chair, takes my head off, cuts me open. Yes, guys, I will say I did have a razor blade. I did cut my head as an 18-year-old kid. It was stupid. It was insane. But I felt like I needed to prove that this was our biggest match. So how do you do that with real blood?
I know people want to harp on me with the weapons. I didn't actually hit him in the head and make him bleed with that chair.
I got my head up. I got my hands up. But he come with a lot of force. It looked legit
fast,
in the match.
Man. He come fast.
Yes. Hey, yo, pause. Then he he hits me with that spear into the cans, that iconic moment in KBW. Just because those cans sat there for so long and no one ever really used them until that moment. Spear off the trampoline into all those bags of cans. We've explained it before. Bulldozer and his family collected cans so they could sell them and make money on them.
Yeah.
But it looks very redneck and backwoods to just have a bunch of cans sitting in your yard.
It makes me kind of sound poor. We were, but still, don't tell them.
Yes.
Don't tell them.
No, but in a lot of ways, it's it's being smart. It's being smart. How can you make extra cash? And y'all were proactive. It's just like someone who coupons a lot. Are they poor? Maybe, but they're smarter than us because they're getting the cheaper deals because they're taking the time out to cut the coupons. Right? He gets back in. He does the different. I mean, he does the he does the spear to me. Bulldozer then meets him with a spear, cuts him in half. Right? Scoops him up, but he gets caught with a silver bullet. He gets caught with a splash. Gets into the sleeper. Oh! Is he gonna fade? Is he gonna fade? Here comes Cage coming back in with the big moonsault onto both of them. Cover 2, kick out, working himself up, showing off the blood. Here comes Bulldozer, spear cuts me in half with this spear. 2 beautiful spears.
2 of my best spears
in this match ever. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And AK didn't take a lot of spears, so AK made his look great too.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself making it look good because I was kind of worried about that during the match. I remember specifically, I was like, man, because I'm not the best at taking some moves, and spear is one of them. Because there's a way you gotta contort your body. I'm not as athletic as Kate, so he can contort his body that way. But
or coordinated. You're oddly coordinated sometimes.
exactly. So it's just like, and I sometimes put myself in an awkward position to even take it. But I am proud of myself that I did take it pretty well and make it look good.
Hell yeah, you did. You took it great. You took it great. You know, and then it just gets into a little bit more false finish wise, right? We're doing big moves to each other throughout the end of the match, right? I think Bulldozer finally hit one of his finishes. Like, he what was the spot right before the splash? Oh, me and AK double clothesline each other, and then he comes in with the big splash, right?
Yeah.
That smirk.
We double kick out of the splash.
Oh yeah,
yes, the smirk was beautiful.
Yeah. When was that?
You
What
see
was
the smirk.
I don't know if it's later. The headshot to you, is that later?
The first one,
No, the
is somewhere right here as well. So you get a move, and then I hit the DDT on you at one point.
I mean, I'm talking
and
when
then
I popped you up and I hit it.
Yeah, this is hit right here somewhere. You pop me up. You hit the headshot first. 1, 2, kick out.
Yeah.
Then I hit the big DDT on you. Paul jumps in. 1, 2. A Bulldozer pull Paul out. Paul out. Gives him the clothesline on the ground. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's one of the most beautiful headshots I did. I just want to harp on that a little bit because it looked so sick watching it back. I was like, damn man, that looks so good. And also the pose.
Even the way you bounced it up, you hit the boot and fell to your back and then bounced up and then you just paused and looked.
Yeah, it was just so.
Hell yeah.
It was so sinister, bro. I was like, damn, it's like in that moment I knew, I was like, damn, that felt good. You know.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that move was badass and I'm a badass too.
Hey, think about it.
Exactly.
Who do you remember who the camera person was during that match? Because thinking about it, they did a phenomenal job, honestly.
I think so too. I can't remember. Maybe the Great Dane or Pitbull, because I did trust Pitbull a lot to videotape matches. I can't remember exactly who the cameraman was.
I know it wasn't someone short. They were on the taller end. Maybe Big Time. Maybe Pitbull or somebody.
It had to be Pitbull I think it was Pitbull. If I had to guess, I'm trying to think. There was another guy we used for cameraman a lot. Maybe it was my brother, Gavin, the Cyclops ref, because he did film a lot of stuff for us towards the end. It might have been him, actually, now that I think about it. I had to go back and ask around and remember who filmed that
Or
match.
we could just kind of find the shadow
Yeah.
we did that last clip.
Oh, yeah, we did find the shadow. We'll be able to see the shadow for sure. You see Paul gets taken out, and then moves are still going on inside. Bulldozer, we get rid of AK somehow. I think, I DDT'd AK. AK rolls away.
Yeah.
Bulldozer comes back in, scoops me up for the Bulldozer. Paul pulls him out of the way.
Ball breaker.
Big giant neck breaker, wall breaker, and then AK headshots me off the cover. 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Right? Just so good. The match is just so good. So many combo spots. So many. The way the moves weave in and out of each other is so fluid. There's no wasted motion in this match. Everything flows so well. There's not a down moment. And for a triple threat match, it's hard to get those moments sometimes. But for all of us to shine in the way we did, anyone could have walked out of that match as the World Heavyweight Champion. And anybody, it would have been satisfying for anybody. It would have made sense for anybody to be champion. Because we built it the right way. We all had a reason to win coming in. And we all could have won with the moves we hit during the match. And I am extremely proud of both you boys and myself. Even 10 years later, I love that match.
It just kind of pisses me off. My bad, AK, but I'll just say this real quick. It just kind of pisses me off because as good as the match was, we never got to do another one. And it just, man.
I know, yeah. And like I said, we not just the finish, but also after the finish, Paul Wall and me get into it. I hit Paul Wall with the belt. I hit KAGE with the awesome knockout, and I put all of them on top of each other, and I had my foot on them I say, how's this for a pretty picture? And I was like, put my foot on them, and that pose at the end, it really felt like AK-47 was on top of the world. Like, who was going to stop AK's wrath, the Renegades?
No doubt.
It was kind of looking dire for a while.
No doubt.
For man, it's just it was such a great run, man. I miss it.
I just felt in my head, I always felt in my head, I should have won that match. And I get why, I think that because I think for the WrestleMania type moment, the babyface should end the show, right? I just love that.
Yeah.
But I also have to realize AK had just turned heel a month before,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's only won the championship 2 months before. So he's only been champion 2 to 3 months. And like, the Renegades really just got going with him as the leader.
Right.
Why end his reign so soon? You know? And so I get that. I just felt like any of us could have won it at that moment and it would have made sense. But selfishly, I thought, oh, let's have the big babyface win. But even at one point, we considered having Bulldozer win because we thought, you know, maybe he needs the belt more than either of us need it right now.
Yeah, because we're going to fight regardless, you know.
Well, I think
Yes.
it helped me tremendously that we set up the, you know, kind of Paul Wall feud with that match. But I think, think in hindsight, I agree with you, Cage, 100%. Like, I can see your mindset of, you know, in our WrestleMania, our Super Bowl moment, we want the babyface to win. But at the same time, it's like we've talked about before, how just bastardous and makes people want to watch more when that heel stays on top. And AK was really at his peak and his prime point of like, I know I was even thinking during the rewatch, like, this bastard, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, back then, I just thought I was getting made to look like a bitch in a lot of ways. It's like, oh, I'm going to lose this match and I'm going to turn around and lose the leather strap match. It's like, fuck, man. I just turned babyface. Now I'm a babyface. I'm just a baby back bitch. You know, that's why I thought this was weird. Because even though we had you get pinned in this match, I still felt like, oh, man, I'm letting the fans down 2 months in a row. Really 3 months in a row because I am the one who lost the match for the team KBW. So I was just like over and over and over again. I felt like I was losing. And it was like, how do I fix this? That's why I was like so itching to get the belt back on me. Is why I got the belt right after the leather strap match. Yeah. I finally won the fucking belt immediately, which helped me go back up. But hindsight is 2020. You know what we could have done and what we should have done. You know, and how I was feeling then really doesn't matter because we could have went several different directions with it.
Yeah, the what if episode is still coming. By the way, let people know.
Absolutely. Which we have some questions here asking us a couple what ifs. Which we can jump into a little bit now.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're kind of done with the triple threat match,
I know.
So
I want to just let the members know that I asked this question right before we filmed the podcast. So if I don't get to all of your questions this week, we'll make sure we get to them on the next week's pod because I'm sure I missed some because of how soon I am reading these comments. Jason Holtby says, what was a spot that came to mind, Cage, you wanted to do but couldn't talk AK or Bulldozer into doing? So one spot I really love, and I said this in the React, I did a moonsault off the trampoline onto Bulldozer, and I really wanted Bulldozer to catch me into the Bulldozer outside. We practiced it a couple times. We couldn't get the angle right. I wasn't jumping high enough because I wasn't jumping off. I was jumping off the metal and not the trampoline, and Bulldozer's momentum was off at the time. I really wish we could have popped that off for sure. Yeah. And it's like we didn't hit the awesome knockout at all during the match.
Right, yeah.
And so I'm like, man, maybe we should have hit the awesome knockout as the finish.
Also,
you know what I'm saying?
Knowing me now, like, this might sound crazy, but if I could go back, I would love to hit it like off the ladder or something.
We could have easily done that. We could have done it off the ladder for sure.
Like I like knowing me now, I would definitely do it. But
you could do it off the top rope now. You could easily probably hit a cold red if I'm sitting on the.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm standing on the middle and you're on the top.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You could hit the awesome. Oh man, maybe that's a reunion match that we shouldn't. We're just spitballing ideas here, baby. Bulldozer, you have any spot that comes to mind that you saw?
The only thing I could think is, I don't know if I was doing it at this point. I feel like I was this late, but maybe the package power driver, or I was thinking during the React, it would have been really cool to possibly have picked you both up for a Frasinator and done it.
For the Frasinator, that would have been dope. Yeah, you didn't hit either of those moves, which we should have had you do.
Yes,
you scooped me up for the Frasinator before AK jumps in, and then you hit the fall away and Samoan
cool.
at the same time.
Right.
But I would have loved that. I would have loved for a double Frasinator to happen.
Yeah,
I think we even tried to do that, but AK was scared to take the double Frasinator. He's got to be on the top or bottom. He's either going to come down on top of me or I'm going to come down on top of him. Mm-hmm. That's why in the follow-away slam spot, he had to be the follow-away guy because he didn't want you to smush him on the Samoa.
Yeah, I had to make sure I get the hell out the way. Yeah.
Which made me shocked that he took the splash, too. The double splash is wild.
Yeah. Like I said, if I can go back, I'd definitely do all those moves. Because, like I said, at the time I was, kind of scared to do a lot of stuff. But, man, I wish I could just go turn back the clock and actually do some stuff. Like, man, I knew I could do it now.
Hell yeah. Were all the Michael Baxley member says, were all the spots and bumps y'all took planned, or were some of them unplanned or unscripted? Okay, so there's always a little couple things like unplanned or unscripted, right? So it's like, at one point, me and AK are trying to do this wild weaving in and out spot for the neck breaker. It didn't go right, so he just DDTs me again, and then he scoops me up and hits the neck breaker, right? We also talk about the ladder spot. The ladder spot was supposed to be both of us falling through the ladder.
That.
Yes, but I had to pivot, so I told Bulldozer to just pick me up and do it. Even the same way, it's like the tag TLC was the first match of the pay-per-view. Right. And like I was supposed to take an Apocalypse. Ben McKee was supposed to take an Apocalypse through the table. But they didn't land right. They didn't catch me right. The table fell over. So I had to make the brick scoop me up and hit the brick wall slam through the table. Yeah. Same thing here. A mistake happened, so we planned something else. I just on the fly call it, right? If you look where AK gets slammed into the wall and Bulldozer sets him on the tires and starts headbutting him. He was not supposed to throw his head so goddamn hard into the shed, but it made it better.
Yes, it did. It definitely
right, there's a time with the sign. AK was only supposed to hit the Bulldozer a couple times. He hit him an extra time with the sign. Then he wasn't supposed to.
It's a lot of just improvising sometimes.
Definitely a lot of strikes and stuff were improvised, right? Yeah. So it's like on the fly stuff here that we're just doing to do. I'm trying to think, is there another spot that sticks out that wasn't planned or that we just ended up doing?
We do plan a lot, though.
Spear we had planned. I wanted to do the moonsault off the ladder. Okay. But I couldn't do it. When I did the jumping moonsault onto the sleeper hold that y'all were in, I wanted to jump all the way to the top of the ladder and then hit the moonsault. It didn't look good. The timing was, I couldn't get it down, the timing down or the placement down. So I just did it like I did it. Yeah. Which still made sense.
I think it's...
But for the most part, I think that's all the spots that we had.
Mm-hmm. For that match,
for it. Yes. Berto, 32, asks, what is the most insane storyline that you guys cooked up that never made the cut? Also, next week, can AK come in as Hazard and KAGE as the Bembiki? AK doesn't have the morph suit.
I could.
Berto,
I could order a new one.
Do it.
Berto, what is the most insane storyline we had cooked up that never made the cut? So we are going to do a what if episode. Yes. And so we should save that.
We will save that
for the what if episode, right? I am going to sit down with the boys and we're going to write out everything that I thought I had planned or had an idea for that we didn't do that we would. I want to plan out a whole year of KBW if it continues of what we would have done.
Yes.
If we had the means to everybody, I should say, there was people like Maxilla who wasn't showing up as much as often anymore. So it's like, do I keep him in the fold? Things like that. Ash Crimson asks, does AK still use the silver bullet and different splash moves in his independent matches, as well as the awesome knockout, or even though it's just a Canadian destroyer?
Yes, to the difference maker. I do difference maker. I do the splash still. Not all the time, but I still throw the splash in there. I don't do the awesome knockout because, like you said, it's Canadian Destroyer. Everybody does the Canadian Destroyer. I mean, I did hit the awesome knockout, I guess, Canadian Destroyer on Fuego in our last indie match on the apron. But I don't use it a lot just because I don't like using moves that a lot. Like, I feel like it's overused at this point. So, and also, my matches, like, I want to pull that out like in a big match. I don't know if it's going to be like, this is like a 6 to 8 minute match. I'm going to do a Canadian Destroyer out of nowhere. I just feel like that doesn't make any sense. So if it's like when I finally start getting some big matches, I might bust it out.
Absolutely. He definitely uses Difference Maker and Silver Bullet. He's hit the Silver Bullet on me in multiple matches.
Yes.
The different splashes. He doesn't do the splash as much as he does the Difference Maker.
Yeah.
He definitely hits the Difference Maker, not so much the different splash. Spider Monkey though as well. Sometimes he'll even add a twist in with the Spider Monkey boy. He still hits that. Jaden Gillespie asks, had Cage been the one to turn heel at All or Nothing, would he have ended up winning the triple threat match? We had the ending of All or Nothing planned for like 6 months, 8 months. There was never a plan for me to be the one that turned heel.
Nah.
We knew we needed KBW to go in a different direction, in a new direction, and we had it planned out. And that direction was AK-47 turning and eventually, becoming the leader of the Renegade. So
Yep.
I definitely wanted to win the match back then, but I think we needed AK at the time to really stay on top and stay dominant. This is just our first ever WrestleMania type show. It's weird to have a heel standing over all the babies or all the top guys, but in our head we were going to go for another year KBW, so we're just gonna build up. And unfortunately, that didn't happen, man. I wish it did.
Yeah, me too.
I really do wish it did. There was a couple comments from like a couple different things last week that I can throw in here just to ask. Wanted to ask if it's already been answered. Why did Fuego choose to be Fuego instead of Cage? Will we ever see Cage on the indie pro scene? I have answered this, but I'll go ahead and answer it again. Once I decided to be Fuego, I committed to the mask. And now that I have a wife and kids, I like to keep my private life private. However, I didn't think this mask was going to go on for 10 years. However, if it ain't broke, don't fix it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I do feel like since leaving AEW, I do need to switch things up. So I would not be shocked if a version of Cage does return one day. I wouldn't call myself Cage just because there's already a Christian Cage and a Brian Cage and a bunch of Cages on the indies.
Right.
But I would, if I ever unmask, you will see the spirit of Cage return without a doubt.
With Hello World by Dickie Simmons.
Yes.
Ooh, I don't know. I feel like it almost has to be.
Has to
right?
be,
But if I get back on TV, unless I can buy the rights to the song.
Buy the rights. Diggy Simmons.
All you gotta do is DM him, bro, and be like, look at your comments on YouTube. Come on.
Yeah, bro. Come on, bro. He has to know you a little bit.
I don't know. We'll see. Someone asked us last week, are Bulldozer and Pitbull related? They are not related. Actually, me and AK are related to Pitbull. Where Bulldozer is not related to Pitbull.
For future reference, trying to think. I don't think I'm related to anyone that was on KBW except for obviously my nephew Landon, who's just a referee on occasion. So
yeah. And my agent in the first ever Money in the Bank match. Are you really not related to anybody? I guess not, huh?
No.
I'm trying to think. With your bloodline.
I don't think so.
Throw the ones up. Yeah, I guess not. I have to think really hard.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Rensler said, did we have anyone in mind to beat Pitbull for the hardcore title? Or did you know he was going to be the last champion? I just knew I wanted to reward him.
Yeah.
And so we knew we had the last 6 episodes. And since he was so good and so great in his role and he had never been champion before, I wanted him to be the champion. I had no plans for anybody else to beat him. But I like to reward, just like I rewarded Big Time Mike, I wanted to reward Pitbull for their loyalty and love for KBW, even after we had stopped recording on a weekly basis, This is a good one for all of us. Aaron Gibson, member, says, what was a wrestler you all looked up to back in the day?
I'm trying to think of off the wall, because I've said it before, obviously Shawn Michaels, greatest of all time, in my opinion, my favorite.
Same.
Let's see if I can think of someone else I really loved.
I'm going to say Randy Orton for me. I know a lot of people, I don't know why they think this, but every time people comment, it's like, AK reminds me of Randy Orton and WWE. But the only reason I say Randy Orton, because I kind of want to base, especially his earlier stuff, because he didn't do a lot of crazy high-flying stuff. So I was like, oh, he's kind of slow, methodical. I kind of went, and he was very heelish and I was like, I kind of want to, yeah, he was kind of lean. He wasn't super big, so I can kind of try to mold myself into him a little bit, especially when he was younger. He's much bigger now, but So yeah, I'll say Randy Orton. I looked up to him a lot because I was definitely trying to like really because I could kind of see myself in him a little bit and like trying to like kind of like mirror him in a way. So I'll say Randy Orton for me.
Absolutely. Your heel work was a lot of like, just especially like 2009 Randy
Yeah,
Orton,
exactly.
being a dick and being a sly snake. You were like that as a heel. I always looked up to guys um that were smaller, but made it to the main event scene. So we're talking Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk. Guys that were considered to be some of the best wrestlers in the world, even though they were smaller in stature and still made it to the main event.
Right.
And so that's why I love all of those wrestlers so much. And I've even been co-workers with a couple of them now, which is even more insane.
Nice
But yeah,
flex
those
there.
Well,
guys.
since you said that, I got one now that you say that, and I may have mentioned it before. It's no doubt, and it has been for a while since Cage introduced me to him, Kevin Owens, even to this day.
Kevin
Because
Yeah,
he, in my opinion, I know he's not a huge guy, but he has just changed the way people look at bigger wrestlers, in my opinion. Because he's just so athletic and just does so much more than just the big, dominant kind of persona thing. And I think he's amazing. Which is one of the reasons I even had the package power driver in KBW was because of him.
Hell yeah. Big shout out to KO. Love KO.
Sure.
I want to think just final thoughts on the match in general. I'll end it, but I'll let you guys give your final thoughts and what you want fans to remember about that match, and what you take away from that match. Even now that we're 10 years past it.
Final thoughts for me is just kind of like Bulldozer said, man. Makes you want to go out there and have another match and redo it. That's just how I'm feeling because just seeing how I am now, seeing how we are now, I feel like we could still put on a banger right now if we wanted to. Like we put a ring, like it doesn't matter. I feel like we will still come up with some dope stuff. So I'm very proud of that match. Like you said, the best match in KBW history, like you said. So man, I'm just so proud of what we done. It was just and the build up. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Is like the build up really sold that match. It was so worth it in the end. I feel like because I felt we built it up so well. We finally hit the point where we all got in the ring together and all had a match, and it went so smooth, perfectly executed. And yeah, man, I'm just only thing I can say is I wish I could just turn back the clock and just redo it again.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. A.k.a. Amazing match. So glad we all three got to go against one another. Wish we could have done it at least one more time, or like we've discussed, the Fatal 4-Way with Paul Wall.
Yeah.
But it was just the perfect time, the perfect setup, the perfect story. It just all came together, and it's a fond memory.
Yes.
Hell yeah! Like I said, I've really put it over this time. I've talked so much about it, but that's just because I am so incredibly proud of it and like it so much, man. We all came together and we knew we had to create a big moment, and we did just that, man. We lived up to it. We delivered. We gave it our all, and to this day, I am proud of that match, and it's evergreen in a lot of ways. You can go and find that match today, or you could have found it 10 years ago, or you might find it 10 years into the future, and you can be entertained by it because it's just the epitome of what KBW was. The three most passionate guys, three guys that put their heart and soul into this the most, going out there and leaving their heart and soul in that on that trampoline for the fans to watch. And that's why I think we're forever connected by that match, and that's why we're so. Our friendship was building and bonding back then, and it was solidified in a way with that match. And now it just shows that solidification because here we are 10 years later enjoying the hell out of doing over 10 podcasts together now. Yep. And I'm so thankful to you guys, and I love doing this podcast with you. And again, we might do a separate podcast just talking about life and opinions and stuff in general. We love Marvel, we love reviewing movies and shows and video games, and one of these days we're going to drop a podcast on the separate channel. We hope a bunch of you guys follow us over and listen to us do
Bulldozer
that.
and get that gaming podcast started soon.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to start a whole separate channel where we just do it all. We do games and we do just pop culture in general. Exactly. Screw it. Thank you, boys. Thank you, fans, for watching. Remember, all the KBW members will be shown at the end of the podcast. Remember, it's a new month coming. It means we're going to get a new matchup, which means we're going to get a bunch of new perks and goodies over on the channel. We got a bunch of guests coming your way. Make the Break, T-Rex, eventually Big Time Mike, maybe Paul Wall. We got a bunch of guests on the horizon that we cannot wait to bring on. The Beast, another one. Cannot wait for all these guys to come onto the podcast. And so until next week, this has been the KBW Podcast. My co-host, AK-47, Bulldozer, I've been KAGE, and we will see you next week. Peace.